Hello again, and welcome to Faith, Family, and Politics. I'm your host, Joshua Cummins.
We're going to have a really big show today.
That's right, Louis. That's our good friend, Louis Rodriguez, here in studio with us. It's good to have you here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We got some big news this week, didn't we, Louis?
Oh, yes.
Yes. We got some big things to discuss, so stick around for it. And while you're sticking around, make sure that you go to everything that Revolver Broadcasting has to offer. Now, not just this show, Faith, Family, and Politics, but of course you've got Louis, who I just introduced, his show Rodriguez Rants. He's got 2 episodes in the book so far, plus some shorts out there for you guys to enjoy. So definitely go over there, take a look, view, share, comment, and all that good stuff. And then while you're at that, you want to move on over to our other guest's show, Laughing Libertarian, with your host Alan McFarland.
Who? Me? Right on. Yeah, please come out. Check it. Subscribe. Share. All that good stuff. But thank you for having me on the 25th.
Yes. Thank you for coming, because this is a big one. It's not only a milestone, but oh man, I can't wait. I'm champing at the bit to get to the articles, but we're gonna hold out. We're gonna hold out because I'm an adult. And
I have so many jokes. So many jokes.
I can't wait until we hit a decade.
Yeah. That's one of these days, right? One of these days. But we also have a 4th show. If you guys aren't not aware already, we have a 4th show called "What Is the Truth About?" with Danny Tippett. On last couple episodes, we had said "What is the truth?" with Danny Tippett. Well, we actually changed the title, so it's not "What is the Truth About?" with Danny Tippett. Be sure to check that one out, because it's going to answer a lot of questions you may have about faith, about the Bible, about how we approach God in general. So absolutely check that one out. Now, last but not least, here in the studio with us, the man bringing the message, our perfect producer, Sterling Metcalf Allen.
Nice to be here.
Glad to be here. Joining us. Yeah. Thank you for doing this. I'm so excited to see what you got here, buddy.
Super pumped. No pressure. No pressure.
Just keep it simple.
Keep it simple. That's right. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. That's what they said in school.
Kiss tactic.
Yep. So what's your title for today?
Humbly in your place.
I was just going to call him Sir, but I guess if that's a title you want to go with.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah.
I prefer Master of the Show, but
MOS for short, please.
Yeah,
MOS.
Yeah, I don't like MC. It just doesn't work. MC Josh just doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, would you like to lead us in prayer, sir?
Absolutely. Lord, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be able to bring your word, Lord. And I pray that it will just reach somebody, touch somebody's life, Lord. And just, like I said, we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to go through your word, read it, say what it means to us, Lord, and hopefully that it will open some eyes to other people in humility and just understanding that you don't have to be the best. You're given a gift from you, Lord, and you'll find out how to use that in obviously in your way, but you can't look at other people, Lord, and it's hard to put ourselves back and not feel like we have to be something more that the world says that we do, Lord. So I just want to thank you once again for Josh, Alan, and Louie for just putting in the effort to make this show, Lord, and to continue with it week after week. Lord, obviously, you will bless that because we are doing it in your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sterling.
And while we're at it, Sterling, we got to thank the Lord for you, because, week in and week out, you're generally down here making it happen, making us all sound good and look good. Laura,
and that's a challenge.
Yeah, Laura has to step in from time to time, and she does what she can, because she's down here. But
she's been fired quite a few times.
We just keep. She's actually looking at me in the studio right now.
She's listening.
You're fired.
She's fired again.
She's back. She's staring again. So
she's by far,
I'm going to be in trouble later.
She's by far our most fired employee.
I might end up like
I said most 43. Fire employee.
We had to build a doghouse outside earlier.
I might end up like Bush 43 with a shoe getting thrown at me.
Sandal? I think it was a sandal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a sandal or some kind of foot apparatus. Anyhow, Into the message, sir.
And it's a blessing to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Louis. So we're going to be in Romans 12. We're going to basically read that whole chapter. We're going to take it verse by verse, kind of like we did last time. Here we go. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. So that's verse 1. Lot there. Obviously, there's a lot there. So my take on it is basically Jesus died and did all these things for you to take the sin of the world, the pain, the humiliation, the suffering, even being on the cross. Like, if you know the process of being on the cross, the nails in the hands, the nails in the feet, and even all of the stuff before that, the beatings, the cat of nine tails, and there's so many things that go into that. It's kind of horrifying if you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Passion of the Christ. I'm
just saying, could you imagine how much work it was for the guy to plan all of that? I mean, it's awful, but I'm just saying that sounds like a lot of work to try to, put together.
Yeah,
certainly.
I can't imagine even just going through that, or having to watch someone do that to another human being.
That would be awful. Be absolutely awful.
It's rough enough just to watch the film Passion of the Christ, and then we knowing that it's all fake. But every time I cry.
Yeah.
Every time. And
yeah, it's horrifying. And it was all for something he didn't even do. Like, wow. He definitely didn't even deserve it. So basically, the least thing that you could possibly do, because he did all of that for us, which is a reasonable sacrifice, as it's put, is to basically live for God. So he did all of this for you. You might as well do the little thing, the simple thing, compared to what he did. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So obviously the world is becoming more and more crazy every day. More sin apparent, so things that were like, quote unquote, hush hush are becoming more and more acceptable. Openly promoting the dark side of the human condition. So we're not supposed to conform to that, so accept that, mold ourselves around that, like their wills or their ideas, or kind of like, I don't know, it's being pushed, like we've talked about so many times, these mentalities of, this is how you're supposed to be, or this is acceptable, or this is whatever. I don't know what people are thinking anymore these days, but we're not supposed to do that, especially as Christians. We're supposed to stand apart.
Yeah, not just go along to get along. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. The second part of that is, how do you feel about conforming or not conforming? Is there do you have any ideas on that, or thoughts on how far to go against conforming or not conforming? Louis, you got any ideas on that?
I don't know. I go pretty far with everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. We've seen that. So
Louis is pretty non-compliant with just about everything. So
he's strong-willed. I mean, you need that though, especially in hard times like this. You got to make a stand somewhere.
Yeah.
Alan, you?
I mean, as a lot of people know, I'm not a Christian, but I do, obviously stand against the things that I have a problem with, or I think is morally negative or morally vacuous. I dare I say. It's just the simple fact that you can look at things, and one thing I do value about religion, period, is that it teaches good morals. I had no problem with my daughter going to a preschool that was at a church because it teaches great morals and great morality. So yeah, I mean, I think you do what you have to do and stay where you need to be and stand against anything that breaks your morals, no matter the degree you have to go to. So.
Right. Compromising?
No, not a compromise.
I mean, that's the thing is we compromise. Like, even little by little, we're compromising more.
Oh, as
a society.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, because what they call a slippery slope. Yeah, and because they'll say, "Oh, we just want this. We just want this. We just want this," or "You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't do this."
It's like give a little, take a lot kind of thing.
There was a lot of slippery slopes at the Pride Festival.
Moving on.
Yes,
Lord,
moving on.
I try.
God help him.
I was just saying, like, I don't want my kid seeing most of the things that were going around the Pride.
No, yeah.
I don't think any kids should see it. No.
That was horrifying. After last week, you were talking about the whole dog guy thing or whatever. I was like, oh, no. I looked it up. I was like, my gosh.
Right?
There would have been a lot worse circumstances that happened that day if I was there, for sure. But we won't go back into that. That's a slippery slope, as they say. Yeah. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. So for me, once again, I believe that this is talking about humility, but not in like the you're supposed to be boastful kind of way. It's just basically you lower yourself down. You can't. For me, this is also, I take it too far, as I consider myself like the least of least, like the worst of the worst. We've had this conversation before. Yeah. You're not even supposed to do that, obviously, but you can't. I'm better than Josh. No, I'm not better than Josh. Everyone is equal as far as that goes. And you may be good at something that I'm not good at. Alan, same. Louis, same. But we're supposed to, as the next verse will say, use those gifts together. So we'll go ahead and move into verse 4. So as far as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. So again, what I just said, so verse 5. So we being many are one body in Christ, and every one member one of another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy, according to the proportions of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching. So basically it's going through just some of the gifts that are mentioned, and if you have them, to use them. It's a gift that you have and is not being used isn't blessing anyone. And that's hard to say because some of the gifts that I have that I've mentioned before, or I think that I have, I feel like I have, that I feel like I'm led in by the Lord, by Christ. It takes acts of faith, as it says, to move on those things and actually do them. So basically, if you've got the gift, use it for the Lord. Teaching.
Louis, how would you use the gift of getting kicked out of places?
There you go.
I try my hardest to find more ways to get it kicked out.
I think it's you. You're a good example for other people to understand that it's okay to get kicked out of places. Mm-hmm. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah,
it's one way of being humiliated.
Some people are scared to get kicked out of places, man. Maybe you're setting a standard, and they're like, "That's cool. He doesn't care. Obviously, it must be okay to get kicked out of places."
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, people don't like my opinion sometimes.
How dare them? That's funny. So just kind of going back a little bit over what was just read there. So it talks about the different parts of the human body as being many members. So each one of those, so like organs, or they all have their own functions in and of themselves, and then it references us as a body of Christ, each having our different functions, but still functioning for one goal. So, again, going through those lists of gifts, use them in the body as a whole to bring honor and glory to God.
Now I'm just trying to think about who's the appendix of people.
Well, it's got to be somebody.
As a system, we're supposed to work together, but that appendix, you really don't need it.
I mean, you can take it out. It sounds like consoles.
Might be sitting in the White House right now.
Oh, I think he is. And we can't wait to take him out. Not in a harmful way.
Just remove.
Yeah. Put someone else in the seat. That's where I'm going.
We don't want to hit that red list.
I just realized when I said it, I was like, oh, no.
It's not a call to action.
Definitely not. That was not
Peaceful.
Take out. I
Peaceful.
mean, remove.
I mean, that's what I meant. Democrats are going to try to do that anyway, right?
He's going to fight like hell.
Crap.
Okay, back to your message.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay.
Patriot Act. No.
It's getting used out of context for sure.
Verse 8. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that sheweth mercy with cheerfulness. So, again, just use those things that you have. Verse 9, let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, obviously. Cleave to that which is good, which is something we don't see in society. For some reason, what evil is now good and good is now evil, like that doesn't even make sense. And as you were saying, morality has twisted, like on it, almost on its end. I don't. It comes back to, I think, the beginning. Basically, Lucifer trying to take everything that God has made good and holy and pure, and literally Lucifer coming in and saying, okay, how can I mess those things up and literally make them the opposite and somehow make them sound good? Like, how does he, I don't know how people can, I guess they just don't know God, for one. That would be the basis of it all. It's sad. It really is sad.
I think you probably started with a whisper.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Well, I was just kind of what you were saying. I was kind of thinking, like, the people who are doing these things aren't doing these things thinking they're the bad guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're doing these things going, hey, we've been in this position before. Isn't it awful? We can fix that position. Or, hey, are you tired of feeling this certain way? Well, you don't have to anymore. Freedom. They think they're being good.
Freedom. It's the wrong kind of freedom. So number 10 is be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love. So in this circumstances, and in all circumstances, that's kind of even hard when, let's just say, I don't know, we were talking about the pride rallies. Nothing against them as people, obviously. Love them wholeheartedly. Just don't agree with their decisions, and that should be okay.
Yeah.
But for some reason in society now, you did what? You said something about, well, you attack Christianity all the time, but yet we don't, it's not equal. It's not.
No. We were going to, he said that we were going to suffer for his name's sake.
This is true. He said we would. We'd be basically bearing our own crosses, so, in his name. Wow. And honor, preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So there's your, just basically trudging through it. Rejoicing in hope, because, the hope is that we have the win in the end. We have to go through this life. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. And like Louis, standing his ground, getting himself kicked out of places, we may have to do that to fight against the horde that's coming and the movements that are coming. No matter what happens, God is going to take care of it, period. And there's a fear in that. We shouldn't be afraid of what's going to happen to him, like many of the apostles and, oh my goodness, there's missionaries all over the world that have lost their lives just for the same reason. So, yeah. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Yeah. So we're going to be moving into basically attributes of, I don't say being a Christian, but being a good person and using those things. So distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them, which persecute you. Very difficult. Yeah. Bless and curse not. That's really hard. I mean, the human nature, or just, I don't know if you want to call it human nature, but instant responses are very hard. Like, anger or pride even. Pride's probably the biggest one. I'm not talking about like that kind of pride, but internal pride, Get a laugh. That's good. I'll take it.
Yeah, jealousy, anger, pride. Those things happen, and it's very hard to regulate it on the fly. In the moment.
Yeah, anger is my biggest downfall. I get angry. Yeah, once I'm there, it's really, really difficult to
come down.
Yeah.
And I also get angry when somebody comes up with a dumb opinion.
Yeah.
Opinion.
Yeah. Something that'll
not based on anything.
Yeah. Just something that just, that they're saying it just to get you stirred up, but you still.
Like Louis.
Yeah.
Or they're jealous of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. and they'll use you as an example. It's another one.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah, the first thought that came there was they want what you want, but don't know how to, like, which is the perfect way to, that's almost like an icebreaker to lead into like a witnessing opportunity. 'Cause I've had people like that at previous jobs, like, how are you still happy? Like, this is going on or whatever. How are you still, like, you respond differently to people, you know, but they say you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Well, you're supposed to basically live by example, kind of, and, you know, keep your witness and all those kinds of things.
It all depends on the example,
Right?
if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're still allowed to be prickly, obviously, but just
Prickly.
that's a nice way of putting it. But you know, 'cause sometimes you have to be. Sometimes some people are just not gonna get it unless you're a little bit prickly. But you know, it is good to be loving and caring and kind and
Right.
A hard thing to do.
Very hard.
very difficult.
So going back to the body of Christ, not even just the body of Christ, but people in general. Verse 15 is, rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. To be there for each other in all circumstances. And I think, again, our society has started to single out, I don't want to say single out people, but make people feel more alone. I don't know if that makes sense. So people are trying to find things to fit into that don't make sense. Like, I don't know, LGBT, whatever community, there's a lot of people that don't, quote unquote, support that, but they feel more accepted there. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's where they had to turn to try to feel acceptance. Like, we're not doing our jobs if that's the case.
I mean, think about it. I like what you're going with there. I mean, we have isolated ourselves. Our culture has isolated every individual and put us in our own boxes, right?
Right.
Even as you say, LGBTQ plus, knowing that there's a ton of letters that go along with that. Inside of that group, every letter is a box, and someone is putting themselves in that box. And instead of being a part of this larger community, which is Americans, humans, anything like that, they've now put themselves in a box with 50 other people, 75 other people. They've limited their social interactions to those people that are in the box with them. Yeah. And how miserable of an existence is that, right? I mean, we can all look at each other and, like I said, I'm not Christian. I'm sitting at a table with 3 Christians. Yeah. I may not be in your box, but you're letting me be in your box.
Yeah. We're glad to have you in the box.
Oh, thank you.
You know, it's more about Christian than I do, and I'm a Christian.
Well, I just
So
typically like to
you
know
should
about
become one.
Well played, sir. Well played, sir. Put my toe back in my box.
Not quite done yet.
No, not
Put it back in the oven.
Put him back in the oven. Yeah, that's what I say.
fair enough, sir.
He'll get there though.
I didn't know the 25th episode. That was the big thing that was happening.
Just turn it to 325.
I'm starting to see a halo.
Oh, well.
I think it's just the lighting. So.
It's just the lighting. There's no way. It's going to take a while.
Well, like Alan was saying, being usually not being a Christian, but we are still, like verse 16 says, being of the same mind one towards another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Basically, we just stay on the same level. Be not wise in your own conceits. That sounds like media outlets and a lot of different things there to me. But we'll just keep going. 17, recompense to no man evil for evil. So that's even harder. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So it goes back to, even if you don't agree with people, you still love them, you still have to live with them, you still have to find a way to coexist, as they say.
That's a terrible bumper sticker, by the way.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's so strange, mate.
I don't like it.
And then last part, the 19.
It was in my head. I had to say it.
19 through 21, it basically is like a calling, I think. It's pretty straightforward. It says, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So don't react was it? There's righteous anger, and then there's sinful anger. There's sinful acts. If you're doing things out of malice, you're doing things out of hate. If you're doing things out of fit in the blank there.
I think it's generally like a knee-jerk reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that immediate reaction is, that's probably the wrong one.
Kind of the whole think before you speak and think before you act. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good.
Now every cartoon of the child makes sense.
Right?
The Ninja Turtles never actually kill Shredder. They beat him up a little bit and let him live so they can beat him up later. That's not what you meant, right?
I mean, it's close.
Crap. That's not what you meant. Never mind. No. Sorry, guys. I missed that one.
It's okay.
Beat him up a little bit today. Let him live. You can beat him up again tomorrow.
Well, you can be happy in that mercy. I guess that's pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All he wanted was turtle soup. See, they wouldn't serve him what he wanted.
Well, at what point is it bullying, though? Because those Ninja Turtles just beat him mercilessly.
He's like, I just want to do something. They're like, no, beat you up.
It's hard to have patience and let God basically have his way. So he'll deal with your enemies. It's promised. It's written many a times. I didn't have any of those verses per se, but and in doing so, it's fun to see. I don't know if there's probably examples that we could all share, but when you actually do good to your enemies, it's not the response that they expect, and usually has a bigger effect on them than it would if you were just angry. Like, why did you act that way? You're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They want the pain and anger.
Let me tell you why. Yeah,
They
exactly.
want the pain. They want the anger. They want you to feel as bad as they do.
Yeah, they want you to have the knee-jerk reaction.
I want you to hurt as well.
Yeah. Misery loves company.
It's true. So you show up at their house to be miserable with them.
Here's a casserole. I don't know what's in it, but here's a casserole.
It's cheesy.
That's it. Green beans and
White folks at this table, it's probably going to be green bean.
just green beans.
Yeah.
Just
I've never had green bean casserole. Sorry, we're getting way off base here.
I mean, it's okay. Oh, basically,
Louis like,
basically
what's green bean casserole?
I've never had it either, man. I have no idea.
Sorry.
I no longer feel like together at this table.
If it comes in one of those dishes and it's not a lasagna, I know nothing about it.
green bean lasagna.
What? Blasphemous.
So that's basically what I have. Any thoughts over all of that? Anything to chime in?
Yeah.
Everybody just stare at Sterling.
Yeah, stare.
Just stare at him for
Stare.
20 seconds.
I'll just keep talking. Otherwise,
Moment of silence for Sterling.
Go ahead, Josh.
When you talked about the response of being kind, even though they're looking, you can tell that they're looking for that anger response, that knee-jerk reaction. I've had that several times here recently. That I've had to deal with that, and I had to compartmentalize my knee-jerk reaction from what I knew that God wanted me to do. So I would have to let me put that aside, because that I can deal with that later. I can talk about that with my wife or my friends here at the table, and we can get through that part. But let's deal with the what's really here at hand. And then what really will throw somebody off, especially if you get to see them face to face. That's usually the key of breaking a lot of that, because get keyboard warriors and they send you all kinds of nasty comments or letters, which is welcome, by the way. I'm willing to talk to you.
We just like to know you're watching.
But just know that if I do get to talk to you face to face, whether it be in person or via video chat, the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth is, "It's nice to see your face. It's great to see your face. I'm glad that we could do this and talk." That always throws people off kilter, because you'll see it on their face, like they have this body jolt. They don't know what to do with it, and say, "Well, it's lovely to see you, lovely to meet you." When you give them that immediate good output, you're only going to get good throughput from that point, because they have no idea how to how to handle that, or even if they try to jar you again, just keep going back with those positive affirmations. That it's, it's good. Okay, it's good that you said that, because then we can talk about this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like confrontation versus opportunity. We see it as an opportunity. They just want the confrontation.
Yeah.
So it isn't okay that I'm just condescending the whole time?
Okay, good. It was good that you were condescending. So
Yeah, see, I'm not being aggressive. I'm not necessarily being nice.
Yeah.
I'm saying I could see how you could see it that way. I could see how you could see it that way.
Hey, that works though. That's a foot in the door, I think. So.
Right?
what do you think, Louis?
I don't have much to say about that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, like living in humility, like you said, it's being able to put aside that knee-jerk reaction, that initial like anger or sadness or whatever, and that's the thing that God he'll wrestle with our hearts. He'll work with our hearts and get us through that. And he'll try to turn that around to where we can actually deal with that and process it properly. Like I said, amongst friends and family, that's your support group. That's who's going to get you through those hard times. And even if it's just a little smidgen of anger, I actually experienced that today. There was a smidgen of anger, and then I talked it over with a friend, and he was actually going through the same thing, exact same thing at the same time, and then we both talked through it, and then it was just like, we were both angry, and now we're good. Mm-hmm. Like, and now we can go back to what we were before, happy. Like, we don't have to deal with it anymore.
I mean, we were both going to be late, okay? I didn't think we had to talk about this. You called me. I said, hey, sorry, I'm going to be late. You're like, whoa, I thought I was going to be late too. I didn't know that was the conversation. Gee, I'm sorry. Man, I'm just going to start calling into the show.
So a regular joke around here to fill you in on what Alan's talking about is how Alan runs on Alan time.
That's right. I don't know what you guys have at your house.
Like,
it's not the same as mine.
He doesn't run on clocks or watches or any of that.
I don't believe in that's man-made
stuff.
It's man-made stuff.
It's just whenever he arrives is when he arrives, and we're all joyful to have him. The time he spends with us, and then when he goes, he goes. It's just how it is, and
even if we have to go home late.
Yeah.
I get off work really late.
Yeah. It's a very understandable thing. He does work a lot of hours.
No, he's got a lot on his plate.
It's okay. Yeah. They still pick on me.
But yes, we do still pick on him. But
absolutely, 100%.
But he brings it upon himself.
I can't think of a better person to pick on.
The only thing left I have to
bully
say,
myself. I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
No, you're fine. Is wherever you are at, whoever you are, wherever you are at, you have gifts and you have abilities that only you can use. And you can only reach those people. There are those specific people that only you can reach. So don't look at other people and try to compare yourself to what they've done, are doing, whatever. You are important. You are special in God's eyes. I mean, he loves you to death. Doesn't matter if you're saved or not. He still does love you and he still wants you. So just bring yourself down, humble yourself, stop trying to compare yourself to other people, and just say, what can I do to further the kingdom of God if you're a Christian? If you're not, what can I do to just be a better person? Or, seek more. Don't just go with what the world tells you. Don't conform. Don't lay down and just go with it. You have to be your own person. So figure out who you are.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And apparently be punctual.
Be very punctual.
Yes.
Don't be like Alan.
Don't be like me. and the best way to not be like me is watch my show so you know what you don't want to do.
You know not what not to do.
I will teach you 6 minutes at a time.
And intermittently we'll have Professor Rodriguez come and explain things to you as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's very educational.
The science of it. We need the science of you.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring the science back.
Yes.
So excited about that.
Come on, Professor Rodriguez.
Yeah.
It's like the government always says, oh, Fauci, science always works.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Well,
No.
since he got COVID and all.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's
I don't know
counting
anybody.
his money right now that he made on the show.
Just a few people that miss him.
If you thought he got boosted, his bank account definitely did.
Sure did.
But yeah, that's a great message there, Sterling. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know we're talking about being humble or whatever, but I in this moment I want to raise you up because that could not have been an easy thing for you to do. I know that you're very introverted and you like to be meek and quiet, so to see you in that chair for a second time, that's the power of God right there. That's the power of God right there. And it's proof that in the pudding right there, you're sitting there and you brought this great message. It's going to reach a lot of people. I guarantee it. And
I'll take just one.
yeah, if there's just one,
Done.
Done.
My work here is done.
well, I know what prayer we're saying afterwards, right? He's like, not yet, not yet.
Crap, this is the one where they douse me with the holy water. I did notice that the sprinkler system had been installed. No, man, it was terrific. I really enjoyed that message. And we enjoy you, Sterling.
Well, thanks.
I like having you on this side of the camera.
Yeah, certainly.
I can't
agrees
hide
with you.
behind the computer.
No, we got Cameron over there doing that for you.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
We need to bring him to do the message more. That way we could get him to talk more.
Yeah, I've been encouraging it. At some point in the near future, we'll definitely have to have you on as a commentator as well, a little more often, so that you don't have to feel like so much pressure on you. So that we can definitely raise the show up even to another caliber, so to speak. Here at Revolver Broadcasting.
I see what you did there. BB gun to 22 or
Deuce is what they call it.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, he's looking at me. I think he's wanting me to agree here.
Looking at you for the slang, I guess. I ain't part of that TikTok generation, so I don't know.
That TikTok generation is not supposed to be mentioned on this program.
TikTok.
Every time Josh says program, I feel a Werther's Original pop up in my pocket, or like one of those strawberry gel candies. It's in there, I think.
Yeah, because since we're only one month apart in age, it's just like, he knows that he's just steadily getting older with me, so can't help it.
I yield my time. So
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, you can go. You brought this message about being humble, and I think that's a good place to be in for as far as a theme for the family portion, to talk about times that we were humbled. Alan,
I'm blank on this one.
Just too much ego to be humbled. How about in this moment, you're being humbled right now?
Am I really being humbled? Because when he was talking about the things how we react in the moment, I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, well, there's anger and there's, that pride one really does kind of hit me hard because I just turned around and be condescending, right? So it's like, I'm going to tell you why you're not right. And so, no, I'll let you guys go first. Let me try to work on this humble story. It's going to be a minute. Do we have paper? I need to phone a friend.
Lifeline. Okay. I mean, I guess I can go first. First thing that comes to mind is my wife, Sarah. That's just a humbling experience in and of itself. Having to have someone else to care for besides yourself, you have to take yourself out of the picture. So that's pride, selfishness, the things that you want, you have to love conditionally and intentionally. Like, that's probably one of the most humbling experiences besides salvation, because that is a very humbling experience if you've never experienced it. That's one of the things you have to do, is you literally have to humble yourself. So I guess I have two. So my wife, and then salvation. You have to understand that you can't do it yourself in both relationships, with Christ and with your wife or your significant other. You Yeah, I mean, but once you understand that, once you get that, and I've been married for almost 11 years, and it's taken that long. I went through this course class and really opened my eyes. Suggest marriage counseling for anyone, even if you're not struggling. It's wonderful. Putting yourself second is more rewarding than putting yourself first, because in doing so, you're going to get that reward anyway. And not only is it a better reward, it's more fulfilling. So humility is something that is extremely difficult, but very rewarding. That's my story. Not very deep, but.
Hey.
I became humble after I lost my wife, because I used to be real mad and not jealous, but I had a lot of anger in me. I went through a lot in my life. My father not wanting me, going through school and always getting beat up or run, and I had to run home all the time to avoid getting beat up. And when I got married with my first wife, I took that anger with me. And I took it out on her, and I took it out on the kids, you know. I didn't know how to act. I was young. I got married young. And I couldn't get rid of that anger until I lost my wife and my kids. They all came back to Indiana when we was in New York. In New York, I suffered when I lost them. And I had to change my life. And then I became humble when I met my second woman. I had to learn to change my life. Bring down that anger, not take it out on her. Love her more. Do for her. And that's what I learned. I wish I knew that from the beginning, but it took me to lose somebody I loved to learn that. And now I'm with my second woman. We've been close to 30 years. And so far we're making it, and I humble myself a lot over that. I brought myself down, and I'm making it.
I like that. That was great. I mean, you also came from a blue state to a red state. I mean, that right there to make life better. And it's been proven that people in cities, like large cities, that they deal with a lot of not only noise pollution and regular pollution, things like that, typically have a harder time with depression and anxiety and anger because you're not breathing fresh air. And people who live in more fresh air areas typically don't have the same kind of problems.
That's true.
Just a little tidbit. A little pop-up video action for all the old folks.
Didn't know that.
I'd have to have Professor Allen join Professor Rodriguez next time, I guess.
Sorry.
He's the secondary science.
Yes.
Down with the Fed. Is that better?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, for me it was when I was much younger, and I wanted to be a musician, and I thought I was just so good at all the different, guitar or whatever, but then you go and you meet up with some professionals, and when you're young, you think you know everything, of course. And I'm sitting there in a band practice. It's an official band practice, and I'm being considered. And I was an okay singer back then. I'm much better now, but back then I was okay, I guess. Passable for the band. They did like my singing, but my guitar playing was horrid next to what they did, and it brought me down quite a few pegs, because I thought I was the bee's knees on the guitar, and I was not, sir, and I did a very terrible job, and ultimately after a couple sessions of getting together with that band, they said, "Hey man, it's nothing against you, but you just don't have the talent that we need to do this." And I was taken back, because in my head I was like, oh, I'm really great. And I'm, this ego that was just,
As you do when you're young.
Yeah. And I mean, cause, and when I was in high school, I was quite popular and I had a lot of friends. And so it just doesn't help that allowing yourself to be humble when all you've ever heard is, you're pretty awesome, you're great, and you can do this and you can do that and you can do everything. And so when you keep hearing that, you think, oh, well, this must be true because I keep hearing it.
It's a few times that friends really do hinder you,
Yeah.
Because they tell you what they want you happy.
Yeah.
So they tell you what they think you want to hear.
Yeah, and until you get around some of the friends that are going to treat you the way they should, and that's when they say, actually, you're okay, but you got some work to do.
Humbling friends. Yeah.
Yeah, because when they chop into those things that you think that you're so great at or above and beyond, they just like, hey, let's be real about this. It's not me nipping at you or tearing you down. Just want to let you know from an objective point of view, from the outside looking in, this is how I see it, and that can be hard to hear. That was really hard to hear from, because these musicians, I looked up to these guys in this band. I looked up to these guys because I knew that they were all good for sure. There was no doubt about it. And I was like, oh man, these guys are so good. I'm going to get to join this band. And I had never, up to that point, because a lot of friends growing up, like, they would say, oh yeah, man, we're having so much fun playing music with you. But that they were also like about that same level of okay, whether it be guitar or singing or whatever. So it didn't factor in for them. But then when you get into that next level of, when someone's actually truly good at that, it changed the game for me. Made me very humble in that moment.
Was that the same band that I got to meet when I went with you?
No.
Different band?
Yeah, this is a good friend of mine. I actually also work with him during my day job. But yeah, that was a fun night. Louis and I went recently and watched a friend's band play, and we had a blast. We haven't had a whole lot of chances where it's just me and him going hanging out, because we usually have our spouses with us and stuff. So it was nice to have a guy's night and go out and watch a band play.
And they were good people. They accepted me like a family.
Yeah. It turns out that the drummer in that band and the one of the singers in the band they're both ministers, and so that was really nice, because Louis and I were talking about some rough stuff that we were dealing with, and they were dealing with some rough stuff too. So we actually all prayed for each other. So it was quite nice.
It's pretty cool.
But enough about me. I'm rambling on. Enough about Alan. You got to have one. You got to have
one humbling experience. I kind of feel like the last 10 years of my life has just been humbling, right? Again, being young, being athletic. I trained like crazy. I could jump out the gym. I was that guy when I walked onto a basketball court. And then sometime around the age of 25, I went to go play a pickup game, did a hop step, and something just tore in my leg. And had to go get checked out. And they basically showed me my calf. A Catholic marble. It had so much scar tissue in it. Wow. And they said, here's the thing, literally when it tore, I couldn't lift my foot. My foot just fell straight down and it would not lift. So they checked that out, and they basically said, you can stretch it out, see how it works out. But with this much scar tissue, the likelihood of this happening is very, very high. So you're probably not gonna be able to do that at that level. And then, okay, it's fine. I gave up basketball. It hurt like crazy. Like just sitting in my house sometimes, then hearing kids dribble a basketball past my house, and that sound that I love so much, that gave me so much, so much happiness for years. That gave me that feeling of winning, camaraderie with my friends and just random people, meeting new people and things like that. And it's gone. Right. Beyond that, like I said, just aging, right? So then it was, all right, what's fine. I can still stay in good shape and not play sports. It's okay. Yeah. Got really, really fit, stayed really fit, and then started having issues with one of my eyes, and they said, hey, you have glaucoma. And you have this rare form of glaucoma, so jostling around is not good for it. so you probably need to stop running. And it was like, wow, man, come on. I mean, like, this is silly. None of this stuff is devastating. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, it's nothing health-wise that devastates my life. But it's like, man, these things that they just humbled me, right? It's not like I was scared. It was just, you know what? I can't do those things that I thought I was great at anymore. These things I value so much. Why did I value them? And then, of course, I became a dad. And now I get to take my knowledge and that thirst for knowledge that I have. Every time something comes up that I don't know, if there's a word I don't know, I look it up. If there's a topic I don't know, I look it up. I need to know. Even if it's really not relevant in my life or relevant to anything going on, I have to know. But it feels great to be able to just to switch gears and say, hey, I don't need to be the best at all this stuff. There's one person who relies on me being the best for her, and I can feed her all the knowledge and, let her go out into the world and try to be the best her she can be.
Good.
So yeah, that's really the aging has been, I guess I have to say, there's no one real story of me being humbled, but
Age comes with knowledge.
And yeah, just my body not staying up with my mind, I guess, is what really humbled me.
Yeah. You're talking about changing gears. Well,
I was afraid you were going to say, let her be the best. let her be the best she can be.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But I'd like to switch to the politics portion at this point, because we had some very, very big news this week from Fox News. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade and landmark abortion decision.
Yeah.
And none of them work. None of them are popping.
This one didn't pop.
Mine popped and I broke my microphone.
Woo!
Okay. There we go.
Oh, you got to turn it outwards. Yeah. Outwards.
What? No more. We're making a huge mess in the studio.
So much smoke.
All right.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
It's a dud.
No.
Yeah, I had one. I had a dead one. Yeah.
Well, that was a good one.
Yay!
Mine were so much worse than that.
Wow.
Did you have one that worked at all, Louis?
None. Where did we buy these?
There it goes. You know what?
Wait, you got to do that. We got to do this.
I
do
figured
another
you're
one.
used to it.
There you go. Yeah, that one worked. That one got. Hey!
Gotta pull it.
Nah.
It's my old age. Can't pull anymore.
That may be good for you.
There we go.
Oh
my
man,
gosh,
so
yes.
much fun. There's one more.
Wow.
Woo!
That one.
You do that
Go ahead,
one.
Josh.
Hang on, he's got one more.
Oh,
He's
no,
got
he
one.
wants you to go with one.
Oh, we got one for me. Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
What happened?
That's a dud.
Dud.
That was
My
a dud.
gosh.
Lots of smoke.
Lots of smoke. None of the good stuff. All right, yeah, Roe v. Wade overturned.
So yeah,
Where'd
Arthritis.
this come from?
obviously you heard all the
I had a cigar one. He hit me with it.
you heard all
Just
the
the general
popping
direction.
noises going. So we Louis and I just before the show we stopped by Wally World or Walmart as it's better known, and picked up a few of these little TNT pop bam things, whatever they call. They were made in China.
Party poppers.
China.
It's fake news.
But the Supreme Court today overturned Roe v. Wade, effectively ending recognition of a constitutional right to abortion and giving individual states the power to allow, limit, or ban the practice altogether.
10th Amendment.
Yeah, isn't it something? So the ruling came in the court's opinion in Dobbs versus Jackson, women's health organization, which centered on a Mississippi law that banned abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The Republican-led state of Mississippi asked the Supreme Court to strike down a lower court ruling that stopped the 15-week abortion ban from taking place. Quote, "We end this opinion where we began. Abortion presents a profound moral question. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives," end quote. Justice Samuel Alito wrote in the court's opinion.
That's I mean, you guys know how I feel about this. Yeah, regardless of how I feel about abortion itself, I feel that, I mean, the 10th Amendment is what it is. You know, any right not given to the federal government by the Constitution actually is given to the states. And that's why each state is actually more powerful inside of its own borders than the federal government is.
Yeah. I really like seeing the words, the authority to the people.
As it should be.
Because it's we the people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I want to say something to Mr. Biden, former vice president. We the people is not the government. We the people is the people at this table. We the people is the people viewing this right now. You are a representative, not a king.
He's changing lives, man.
Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
That's it.
I like that. I don't mind if they do abortion for like rape. I could understand for that. Or if she don't want to have the baby because she don't want to go through the 9 months, you know, because she was raped and then she don't want to go through that heartache. And but if she does, she could always adopt it, you know.
Yeah.
Or is something to do about her life. If it's between her and the baby, and she chooses her life besides the baby, I could accept that. But anything else, no.
Yeah, I think life of the mother is always the exception, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's at that point, it's between the doctor and the mother. It comes down to the life of the mother. But although I understand where you're coming from with that, Louis, I do stand on the side of the adoption is the option for that. Because the baby, to me, the baby didn't make that decision. The baby is not at fault.
No.
And I don't think the baby should have to give its life because of something someone else did.
Be careful, Josh. When you say the baby didn't make that decision, now we're going to have 3-year-olds who can pick their gender.
Right?
Ah, crap.
I mean, before long, they're going to start saying trans babies, right? I mean, that's where we're heading.
Well,
Or trans fetuses
yeah.
My goodness, because how far are they going to take it?
Because we have grown men who act like who feel like they are babies, so we already have trans babies.
That's true.
Some of them just wear diapers in public. Others actually take office.
What? Where are we? What are we doing?
Some of us go to diapers as we get older.
It just depends.
Yeah.
Sterling got it. Speaking of trans, the New York Post brought us our second story of the night, the day, whenever you're watching. From the New York Post, Sanity returns to transgender madness after Lia Thomas banned by FINA. Hold on, Alan. Hold on. What? Finally, sanity prevailed in the world of women's sports. Swimming's world governing body, FINA, announced a ban Sunday on biological men competing in women's events, unless they had transitioned before the age of 12. In other words, transgender athletes who have experienced the enduring competitive advantages of male puberty, flooded with testosterone, such as greater muscle mass, lung capacity, and height, will no longer have an unfair advantage in women's competitions.
Willie Thomas. Sorry.
If you're a fan of the Laughing Libertarian, you'll know why he said that exactly that way.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Willie Thomas.
Oh, Willie Thomas.
Can't forget that eggplant.
Willie Thomas? Yeah. Willie Thomas.
Episode 12, if you're going back and
There's
looking.
a couple of them now.
Yeah, we got the review as well of the interview.
I don't think I'm some kind of hateful person. But
no, it's about being fair and the equality for women because, you know, how are they going to swim against guys?
Both shows are about that, actually. I mean, that's, you know, it can be twisted and say it's hateful, but honestly, it's about women and them having the right to, I mean, Title IX, right? Title IX getting shut down. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Biden's like, we don't need Title IX now. Oh, really? So women don't have protections. Okay, that's great. Fantastic. But, you know, if these places, these institutions, if the NCAA even would just step up and say, hey, we're not going to let men swim against women. We're not going to let men race against women. We're not going to let men fight women. That would be a huge step in the right direction just to get back to neutral. But real quick, and I'll shut up.
Yeah.
You saw me in motion when he said 12 years old. And that's the part that got me. I read it. I was like, yes, that's perfect. Oh, wait. Now we're going to have parents who are going to make their kids transition.
Early.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, honey. I know you love this sport. But if you want to be on the volleyball team with the girls, we got to get this done in the next year and get you transitioned over because you think you're a girl or you feel like you're a girl.
Turn you into Caitlyn Jenner.
Right? But even Caitlyn, I mean, what, into a conservative? We have to claim Caitlyn Jenner, unfortunately.
I don't.
Really? You don't?
I don't.
How dare they do that to me? I can't compete anymore? No. Do I have to give back my trophies? What is going on here? Alan, when we was under the sheets, you told me I could have my trophies. What is going on?
That's hilarious. That raises a lot of questions now, doesn't it? But even man, Sterling got my nope.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn Jenner did come out very strong against that.
That sounded like a film directed by Jordan Peele, by the way.
It did. It really did. But Caitlyn Jenner did come out strong on the side of women being able to compete against women. So that's where I'm going with that. Is like I have to, in this particular argument, I have to say at least Caitlyn Jenner came out and said, "Hey, you know, men should not compete against women," and I'm going to say he.
You're right.
I'm going to say he, and people can get upset if they want, but
still Bruce to me.
Yeah. Still came out and said, hey, look, you know, I can, as a former Olympic athlete, I can tell you right now, men should not compete against women, period.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that just takes away from women. And that's a huge talk. But I'm scared about that 12. I'm scared when they put that caveat in there because it's going to start making parents, okay, this is the line. You know, how close can we get to the line to where this little boy is? Are we going to give him hormones, right? I mean, we already see. I told you I'd shut up, didn't I?
No, but you're making good points though, so we're listening.
So we're already seeing little girls start to mature faster because they have the hormones in the food. You have estrogen being pumped into food, soy, so on and so forth, right? So girls are starting to mature at 9, 10. They're starting to hit those first steps of maturity. Okay, so we say 12. Okay, well, little boys, you start feeding them hormones, which they're eating in the food that they're eating that we dish out, that the FDA says is fine. And believe me, I'm not one of those guys who has to, eat organic. That's not a big deal. I'm just saying this is the reality of what we're doing. It's not about not doing it. It's about understanding what the cause and effect is. So now you have boys that you can now tiptoe to that line, feed them hormones, get them to where they're starting to mature and starting to gain height advantage, wingspan, all these things we talk about. And then they can say, okay, let's put a halt to this real quick. We got you a little bit ahead of where the girls are going to be, and that's an incremental advantage. And so that still is going to get you there. It should just be ruled out entirely. I understand their whole idea is, of course, like it says in the article and what you read, is that you catch it. If they truly want to transition, then they're transitioning for the right reason before they actually go through puberty and get the advantages.
How do you even, being a 12-year-old, how do you even know what you want? Like, how does that even... That sounds to me like it's more the parent's decision than the child. Yeah, like, I want, But no, there's no way a 12-year. I personally, I don't.
They don't know what they want.
12-year-olds can't even decide between chicken nuggets or a hot dog, buddy.
It's like you tell a kid one day, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a fireman. Right, the next day, he wants to be a policeman.
Absolutely.
Or a doctor. Mm-hmm. They don't know what they want.
That sounds like if you asked me 3 days in a row what I wanted to be when I grow up.
Oh. It was a joke. I'm still a man. We was just joking.
Yes.
It comes back to, I don't even know. Actually, I keep seeing a lot of things of people who have transitioned. They want to transition back. And
Yeah.
you know, that whole thing. But if you're 12 years old and that happens, you're gonna blame your parents? Like, I don't know. That just sounds like you're just tearing the family apart.
Yes.
You know, I just remember, and I said this on one of the shows, I was like, I just remember back when you were that age and you just cared about whether you were a jock or a geek or a goth or in one of those groups, not necessarily changing your hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, even if you were part of one of those groups could still intermingle. You could still
And you
go
can change.
Yeah, yeah. That's a transition that you can approve
Oh,
of.
that was where I was going if you didn't go there.
Victory.
Ah, well played. Well played.
Thank
sir.
you. But great minds. Yeah.
Right. I was like, man, I'm going to do a trans joke. No, Josh took it.
So often, Alan and I are just on the same wavelength.
It happens a lot.
This goes back to those boxes.
That being in your own individual.
No,
box.
it's just fun to stare at Sterling. Like, I got him. It's just fun to like stop and stare at him.
see what his reaction will be.
Yeah. Because he just stares back.
I think it was the time.
The place.
No. No. Person.
There we go.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. You can't make me.
You got to do it before 12, though.
That's true. That's true. I got to make a decision. A very important one.
That just seems irresponsible.
Yeah.
I mean, not just like for, say, the child or the parent, but the government that said that.
Well, you know, my favorite thing to hear
insane.
from these parents, and you know, I think because it bothers me so much to hear this stuff again because I'm a parent, so it bothers me, is to hear them go, okay, first of all, we cannot look at people and judge them by the clothes they wear, right? If a man wears a dress, we just say that's a woman, right? Or it's a man wouldn't wear a dress. Who cares, right?
Even if they have a full beard like mine.
Exactly. But on the other end of that, clothes themselves, these same people will argue with you that clothes themselves don't indicate sex. Okay? So a dress isn't necessarily a woman's garment.
So now they've lost their argument.
Exactly. So they turn around. So the argument I've heard from these parents is, I always knew Elliot was a girl. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing names out.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Right? I always knew Elliot was a girl. Well, why? Because she was prone to wearing dresses when she was 3 years old. So we taught her how to do her makeup and everything else. And then she made the full transition to being a girl at 11 years old. Okay?
That's too early.
Well, wait a second. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So wait a second. The indicator to you was the dress. But the dress doesn't indicate sex because it's just a garment. But everyone who's a man who wants to be a woman throws a dress on occasionally or something like that. They use that as an identifying characteristic, but the garment itself isn't an indicator of sex. So what are you doing? If your boy wants to wear a dress, maybe your boy just likes how it feels. I don't know. I'm not saying it's appropriate. I'm not saying it's inappropriate. I'm saying if your boy walks over there, throws on some eyeshadow, maybe he thinks it looks pretty cool. You know what happens when you do that with tree sap or paint that you can get or something like that? It's war paint. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not going either way, but if you're going to tell me that you made this decision for your child based on your child liking a certain thing, your son bought a Barbie doll instead of a G.I. Joe. Well, let me tell you, I wanted the G.I. Joes when I was small, but the Barbie dolls aren't so bad. No, I'm just kidding. They keep making them more anatomically
They sure
correct.
were pretty. You know?
They sure were pretty, but only my G.I. Joes could like them.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like if we use those as indicators, but they can't be indicators, then what's your argument?
I mean, I like a bathrobe.
Right?
Well, how about those Irish people? Didn't they wear dresses?
Kilts?
Oh, you're talking Scottish.
Or Scottish,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, even
Not the Irish.
even in
What's he
biblical.
saying about my people?
It's giving me chest pains.
What would you call those Scottish that wore dresses?
Those were called kilts. Yep.
Yep.
No, they're dresses.
Okay.
They're still dresses.
skirts.
Little mini skirt. Yeah.
They're skirts.
Yeah. We'll go to the next Scottish fest that goes on anywhere near here, Louis, and you can tell them that.
Next time Don's on,
Oh,
we'll get him
that-
wear a kilt. Don owns a lot of kilts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
We have
Oh,
to
yeah.
all wear kilts for Don.
I will never wear a kilt, sir.
Really?
No.
I'd wear one just for the show.
I'd wear one, but I'd wear shorts probably underneath of it.
what would you wear under it?
Shorts.
Why would I tell you ahead of time? It's like a scratch off lottery ticket, buddy. I'm over here to kill. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Mystery.
Sorry, let's put the train back on the train.
Speaking of mysteries, Daily Mail.
Willie Thomas. Sorry.
That's in the conundrum as well. It is a mystery that's happening here recently. So healthy young people are dying suddenly and unexpectedly from a mysterious syndrome as doctors seek answers through a new national register. People aged under 40 are being urged to have their hearts checked because they may potentially be at risk of sudden adult death syndrome, also known as SADS.
We've got Louis over here going.
the great leveler, right? So SADS has been fatal for all kinds of people, regardless whether they maintain a fit and healthy lifestyle. SADS is an umbrella term listen to that closely. They use that word particularly for a reason. An umbrella term to describe unexpected deaths in young people, said the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners, most commonly occurring in people under 40 years of age. The term is used when a post-mortem cannot find an obvious cause of death. The U.S.-based SADS Foundation has said that over half of the 4,000 annual SADS deaths of children, teens, or young adults have one of the top warning signs present. That's those top warning signs are those things I just mentioned. So, but those signs include a family history of SADS, which is really weird for a family. You'd have a family history of
something
that's
that's new. Your brother died. Oh crap!
So, what do you think this is coming from?
Sudden, unexplained death of a family member. Yeah, that's kind of the definition of SADS, right? Fainting or seizure during exercise. When excited or startled. This was reported by news.com.australia.
Okay. That's strange. That's so strange. They won't tell you any, precursors or any ideas to what these people may have been subjected to prior to any commonality in their medical history.
Needle to my arm. Needle to my arm. There's
Could YouTube help us with that? I mean, we can't really talk about it. Let them tell us.
Could it be COVID? Could it cost it?
Could be COVID, yeah.
It's a possibility, right?
I heard a doctor.
Sudden.
I heard a doctor saying that COVID has 36 side effects. Now, is that true or not? I don't know, but that's what I heard. But the bad part about it is you can't sue.
Oh, from
getting that shot.
Yeah.
You can't sue if you get any side effects.
Right. All vaccinations are protected.
Yes.
All companies that do that. And they do that because it keeps the cost of the vaccine down, right? So if they have to have insurance to keep you, if you can sue them, they have to have tons of insurance, which then makes the cost go up, which means the U.S. government isn't going to cover it for free and so on and so forth and so forth. But to your point, why make people wait over 50 years to get results? Why is it that this generation has to be completely gone? The next generation gets to find out what actually occurred. But YouTube doesn't like us talking about this.
By the way, Pfizer has left the chat.
I like it. It's very strange. I mean, to your point, you're making a great point there.
But
I just don't know what YouTube lets us talk about.
Yeah, well, and it is really weird. But what strikes me more is like it talks about the health conditions. So it doesn't matter if you're absolutely fit. You could be the picture of fitness. Is recently the number one NBA draft pick, 25 years old. This young man suddenly dies, and they said of natural causes. For those listening on audio, I put that in air quotes because
there's nothing 25 that's natural.
Yeah,
this never happened before until now.
Yeah.
Why is this happening now? It's got to be a reason to it.
Okay, that was ignorant of me to say. There are natural ways to die at 25. I don't want anybody to hold that against me or put that in the comment section. No comment. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead and
call me on it.
Yeah.
But I will back up and say, hey, there are natural ways to die at 25. It's just not common, especially when you're a top flight athlete.
Yeah. And it was a 26-year-old football player here recently as well. Same thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like these are people that are at the top. Yeah, the pinnacle. Exactly, Sterling. The pinnacle of the picture of fitness, right? There's been Olympic athletes suddenly drop dead. No explanation.
Did you just use the Biden condolence term?
Yeah.
This drop dead. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that, Sterling? He was trying to share his condolences over I can't remember which company it was. You lost their CFO. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, sorry, your CFO just dropped dead." Wow, good one.
Yeah. You can also describe America in one word.
That sounds about it. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
It was close. It was close. That's what I stand for. When I stand up for that flag, I'm standing for That's right.
Pledge allegiance
every morning.
To the flag.
The mumbles.
Oh my gosh.
And we're not saying that it could have been COVID, We're not going to bring that up because we might get in trouble over that. But what I'm saying is this is starting right now after these shots were passed around, and it's a possibility. It could be that. A possibility it could be anything else. Yeah. But they should hearts. They should make more investigation and more experiments on that, and check out to see what is really causing.
What is the interconnectivity between these young people and their dying, their deaths? Because there has to be something. There has to be something that connects all of this, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're all pretty intelligent people here at this table, so I think we have our thoughts on it. Certainly, we can't voice those opinions, but we can certainly make conjectures.
That's right.
All I know is last year, high schools, especially on the West Coast, were having students come down and get their hearts checked. They were popping up tents up on the football fields at a lot of large liberal area high schools, and having the children come down and get heart scans and things like that, as a free way to take care of the people, like, oh, hey, we care about your health at 16 years old. Let's check your heart. Okay.
And then now they're recalling people that had COVID, young people that had COVID, to come to be experiment on it, to see,
how much
what's
does
causing
it pay?
all this.
I've had 2 different flavors of it.
Yes, he's had.
I have. Well, there's like 4 total. I got half the gauntlet, man. I was trying to get there.
Oh my God.
Try snapping your fingers, see what happens.
Nothing. No. Oh. I think Fauci's gone.
Hey, try it again. Maybe Ketanji Jackson Brown will disappear too.
Oh. No, because I need something in my news cycle.
We'll be taking Alan to the hospital just to make sure.
I didn't say anything about the Clintons.
So, speaking of the Clintons, no.
Speaking of the Clintons.
Yeah, there was we were touching on an episode of Laughing Libertarian. You have to go back and watch it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't. That was great. Laura did your makeup and for the rope, and that was great. That was great.
Yes, it was.
I opened with. Speaking of the Clintons.
So if you haven't seen that episode, you got to go back and watch it.
I don't even know what episode it was.
I don't remember the number. Yeah,
but anyway, next story.
Yeah. So before we space out here, coming from the Daily Caller. Our final just for funsies tonight, because I seen this come across my desk. The Space Force gets its own spy agency.
I like it.
All right. Thank you, Sterling. So the U.S. Space Force announced that the service's new intelligence agency, the National Space Intelligence Center, NSIC, will see its first day in operation on Friday. That's today for us, whenever for you, the past, the future. According to the center's deputy director, the newly formed Space Delta 18.
Past, the future, I don't know.
Whatever.
It's whenever.
It's Twilight.
So the newly formed Space Delta 18, named in reference to the NSIC's status as the 18th U.S. intelligence agency, will operate the center at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. According to a statement released Wednesday, Colonel Marcus Randall will oversee the NSIC's mandate to track foreign capabilities and threats in space. Quote, "It's been a long time coming, but after 2 decades of trials and tribulations, June 24th will see the activation of Space Delta 18, the National Space Intelligence Center." End quote. And that was said by Deputy Director John Gass in a social media post.
They want to make sure no illegal aliens come in.
Yeah. Build the net.
It's going to be a big, beautiful net.
Big, beautiful net.
Be huge.
Or force.
We're making Moss pay for it.
Force beam or
We have all the
shield.
nets.
Put up a shield.
We have the best nets.
Moss will pay for it. That's where the Martians are from.
It's woven by our own citizens. Believe me.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that Space Delta 18. That will.
That sounds like a sitcom from the 70s.
I would watch it.
Like right along Get Smart, like the 60s or 70s. Space Delta 18.
Dun, dun, dun.
Beam me up, Scotty.
I'd say it'd be a comedy on Netflix, but I mean, how much longer is Netflix going to be open?
We talked about that last week. We will not bow to you, no matter how much music you play. But the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, that particular Air Force Base, for those of you who have heard of those alien conspiracies and stuff like that happens out there, there is a lot of talk amongst those groups of people that they see Wright-Patterson Air Force Base as a place where they might be hiding a few outer space aliens in there. That's what we put it, illegal aliens. Yeah.
Well, they said they had a general that saw Martians in the moon.
Yeah. There was an article that Louis and I had read recently that this guy had claimed that he had seen several different species of aliens on the moon. It was interesting to say.
I have to say, this feels really strange talking about aliens on this show.
Well, I just saw it as just like, man, this sounds like fun. But let's say that there were. Let's say that there were space aliens.
I mean, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's just so much out there. There has to be something. We can't be the only.
Right.
I just don't know how realistic it is that we should be worrying about them at this point.
Or the fact that they're being surveyed by Space Delta 18.
That's right.
At the NSIC.
3 people. They made 3 special badges. It cost them a fortune because they couldn't get them in bulk.
Funnily enough, though, long before this has been talked about with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in particular, there's a lot of areas of that base that you can't go into. And there's a lot of public portions of that base where you can go and see the historical parts of things, and it's actually really cool. I highly recommend going and seeing those parts. But I want to think that it's for security reasons. But hey,
you never know.
You never know. And I just thought that was fun to see that this is actually something that they're coming. They have to come up with for some kind of reason, right? I mean, they have to think about it as
an excuse.
Excuse to use their tax money.
That's fair, because they can't back off ever. The money's got to keep coming up. And that if you've dealt with any of the municipalities, even they're like, "Hey, we have to spend this money, and if we don't spend this money, we don't get it next year." It's like, well, how does that get worked out? Like, how do they give you more?
I'll tell you what. I'll sign up for Space Force if I can be part of this agency because I just want my lightsaber. Yeah, I mean, just to be able to, hold that elegant weapon.
Right.
Or can we say light sword? I think we have to say light sword because
I'm not sure if it's a registered trademark.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. With the way YouTube keeps messing with your channel.
Yeah.
The Dark Force.
Yeah. So something that we've experienced on a high level here recently is between YouTube and Facebook. They've both figured out ways to throttle this particular program. Yeah, and it is something to shudder about, Alan. It really is.
It is original.
I would like to be a Jedi
It would be cool,
in
wouldn't
space.
But yeah, we've so definitely support us and share us and comment and all that stuff because we need your support. Subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you know every time an episode drops. Because beyond this week, we're actually going on a 2-week hiatus because we all need some rest because we're tired, and but we're gonna promptly be back that following week, and we've got a big special treat for you there. It's a big beautiful treat. I just think about those, like the idea that the difference between us and primates is like
Quite all right.
I think it's 1 or 2%
Yeah.
difference in our
It's
DNA.
something I put in your
Quote
water.
unquote.
Yeah, so it's just enough, right? I think it's 1.5% somewhere in there.
Isn't something about chickens being even closer
Yeah.
than that though?
Yeah, and chickens are even closer.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, like how close we are in DNA, and then in our, we have these cognitive minds that has supposedly we're sentient, and then, there's only that little bit of difference between us and
And the soul.
yeah, so between us and chimpanzees and or us even chickens really. So to imagine that there was God being the creator that He is, He created something else out there that's just a fraction of a percent different from us that could be even higher sentient, having a higher sentience and having higher intelligence, or 10%, 8%, 18%, like just the numbers could be astronomical. How much smarter we look like ants to them.
Or what if they are actually not as smart as us, but they've had longer to develop? I mean, look at what humans have done in 100 years, right?
Yeah.
So what if they happen to hit the wheel?
Oh, I was just telling Cameron, you're good. I was just telling Cameron.
What if they happen to hit the wheel, 500 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the fact that they're smarter than us, but maybe they're actually not as smart as us or even equally as smart, but they just happen to hit those milestones earlier than we did. They're giving us kind of a peek into the future of our own futures if they didn't, of course, interact.
I mean, well, it goes back to like the whole Star Trek thing. Like they talk about the different progressions of the people, and they say, well, how did they get this technology? That's a 24th century technology, and they're not in that progression yet.
Right.
It blows my mind. It's like, oh, well, every species eventually comes that way.
I hope they're smarter than us and they have a better technology. Maybe I could get a new heart. Get my bladder back.
There's a guy I go to church with, speaking of like outer space and things, he said that his theory, I guess, is that the universe besides our Earth is, once we pass on, we'll basically be able to explore all that God has created. It's like that's what it's there for, is the after. Like, oh, we can just go hang around wherever, party and talk and worship and all that stuff. To see what else is out there, just to travel,
Yeah.
Jump clouds.
Beings of light
Mhm.
type thing. Yeah.
Just explore it all.
That would be cool. And with a glorified body, that'd be kind of neat.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of vehicle. I'm hoping for like a 67 and a half Corvette Stingray, but with like
Gas
the
prices though.
the
I
Back
don't
to the
know.
Future wheels that goes like this.
Actually, what happens is you show up and just God has delivered to your door a kit. You have to build it yourself. You get it.
Oh, I thought you were thinking like
No, not Kit.
Well, you have all of eternity to put that
exactly.
together.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, here you go. You wanted this. Go ahead and put it together.
We might not need a car. We might be able to fly.
Yeah, but how cool would it be to just be like?
I can imagine God's car. What would he be driving?
A monster truck.
God's out there revving his engine again. Thought it was all going to be trumpets up here. Thought it was going to just be trumpets. Nope. It's flared dual
Are you
exhaust.
ready for devastation?
Wait, what?
Of godly proportions.
No.
Sound of nos.
You guys are giving me a cramp in my leg.
So, that being all said, and we've had a lot of fun on this episode, I think, and we've had some big victories, and we learned about being humble.
Some of
us. Not Alan, he's perfect. 100%, just all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, just amazing. Captain Amazing.
A lot of pressure.
As long as you don't break out into song.
He's gonna trip on the way out of here. I guarantee it.
It's going to happen. It's the one time I Biden up the stairs.
Biden.
Poor guy.
Just don't ride a bicycle.
I was going to say I'm driving home. I hate you, Josh.
Okay.
And it's what's funny is my doctor's always asking me, have you fallen? Have you fallen the last month? I wonder if they ask him all those questions.
Right.
That's
I don't know.
why they asked.
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. Did you guys see his card? Did you guys see the card they
His
handed
cheat
him?
sheet card
His
thing?
cheat sheet? That's
Yeah.
like, you go sit down.
Yeah.
You say hi to this person.
Yeah.
You sit in your seat. Then this happens. Then that happens. And then you make sure to say goodbye to everyone.
That sounds like an episode of Laughing Libertarian that we need to do.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening. When I saw that today, I was like, oh no. Oh, no.
So once again, be on the lookout for that because, I'm sure that we'll not only talk about it on Laughing Libertarian, but we're going to talk about it on Rodriguez Rants too, I bet. We got to
I gotta check that out. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we're
Oh, man.
spread the love.
Anyway, sorry. I could not get through this episode without throwing it out there when I saw it today.
That's awesome.
It's about yay big.
It's ridiculous. He turned it around the wrong way, and he was like, "Nyeh," and people just like got pictures of it. It literally shows what it's telling him to do.
Step by step.
What he
Is
is
it like the old person touch tone phone that with like the really big numbers that are like,
well, the you and your are actually much larger font, and they're bold
wow,
to let him know when he does something.
wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah, we'll definitely have pictures on Laughing Libertarian and on the Facebook page, and we're going to do a show about it. I mean, it's going to be out there.
I gotta watch it.
And so do you. All right, Sterling, you want to bring us home with some prayer, sir?
Absolutely. Lord, we just come to you again and thank you for this opportunity, Lord. It's been a blessing to be able to be in communion with these guys and just talk and share your word and experience, Lord, and current events, Lord, things that are going on in our world. You have your hand on your plan, Lord. We just wanted to share those with everyone else. If they didn't know, Lord, just our opinions on it, different points of view. Lord, just thank you for, it's hard to say, but thank you for the opportunity just to be human, just that experience alone, the ups and downs, Lord, and just being able to see you in all things. I just want to give you honor and glory in this and in our lives, Lord, and continue to help us be good witnesses for you and help us to share your word. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
That was the man who brought the message this week, Sterling Metcalf Allen. Thank you so much for joining us on this side of the camera, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The man with the message. Sterling McAllen.
And Louis,
I like it.
Rodriguez across from him. And thank you for coming. It's
Thank you
always
for
a pleasure.
having me.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure for me to be here.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you all.
He says it
I'll
because it's
see
true.
I'll see you later.
You have to fight Alan for me.
It got weird.
And speaking of Alan, host of Laughing Libertarian,
I
over
thought you
here
were going
next
to
to
say,
me.
speaking of weird,
It goes hand in hand.
Well, I mean, that's true too. Alan McFarland, thank you for joining us, sir.
thank you for having me again. 25th. 25th.
Yeah, we're
Loving it.
We're just rolling out of the milestones, right? Yeah. And I've been your host, Joshua Cummins. So join us again in a couple weeks for Faith, Family, and Politics. We love you all. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.